Talktainment Radio Worldwide Sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of Talktainmentradio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. Radio the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you.
Alrighty, welcome to TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go, the world's greatest radio. You are now in touch with the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., and I am your co-host, Mr. Bobby. And this is radio the way it should be heard. To get in contact with the show, you can call 1-877-932-9766. You can also Gmail me at the numeral 7, Mr. Bobby, BOBBY @gmail.com. You may also go to the YouTube channel, type in the word Talktainment, then type in the word Talktainment number 2, and then scroll down to radio, and you are there. Make sure you hit the subscribe and like button there. We would like for you to go to the TalkTainmentRadio.com homepage, and all you have to do is click Listen Live. And that's all you have to do, and you're there. And, of course, you can also go to Facebook.com/Talktainment, and you can hear the entire show in its entirety. Okay, interesting topic. Today we're going to be dealing with problem solving. And for those of you who have the code book, the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, for those of you on YouTube, I'm holding the book up. Yeah. You're going to need this book really today. And in particular, page 171, you're going to need that. Before you start your quest, you have to focus, you have to concentrate on that, and we'll have Mr. Fuller talk about that. Donations, we are now down to, we need $800 more. So, yeah, 800, okay, $800 more, and we're set for that. I believe that is all that I'm going to do right now. Okay, let me present to some and introduce to others, Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. Somebody asked me that, why do you do that? And that is because we have new people all the time that listen, are tuning in to the show more and more. My Gmail bag is just stuffed with the Gmails, and we'll try to get to them. So go ahead, you can give your calls in, and we can start the program. Mr. Fuller, as usual, good morning, and how are you?
Good morning. I'm still learning.
Okay, you are coming in loud and clear. Good. We're going to talk about problem solving. And you always, or have said on this program, to my knowledge, the answer to any question is to, the answer to any problems are to do what?
Well, one thing, it comes down to what people want.
Yes.
WANT. All creatures want something from 1 minute to the next. It's not just a big picture of what a person wants out of their entire existence. You want something minute by minute. All creatures do. And I've given illustrations on this program. Just walking across a room, you're sitting in a chair, say, and you happen to look across the room and you see a chair that seems to be more comfortable than the chair that you're in. So what do? You get up and walk across the room from the chair that you're in to the chair is more comfortable, or you perceive as being more comfortable. other side of the room. You're satisfying what? A want. You want to do that. What's the evidence that you wanted to do that? Because that's what you did. Nobody said anything to you or anything like that, but you walked into a hotel lobby and you sat down, and after sitting there for half an hour or so, you happen to notice there's another chair across the hotel lobby room, and you just got up and walked over there for what an observer might see as no apparent reason, but the reason was you wanted to change chairs. So that's what you did. So a bird flying through the air will be on top of a building, and it'll sit there for a few minutes, or maybe a half an hour, like I've seen some birds do, and then suddenly take off and fly 2 blocks away, and there's a tree limb there, or a lamppost, and so it will go there and stay, maybe for 3 minutes, and then take off and disappear over the rooftops. Why? Because it wanted to do that. A person observing, bird watchers and whatnot, will say, well, why did the bird, why did it sit there so long in one place, and then it went a couple of blocks and was on top of something else, and it didn't sit there very long, and it took off, and then it disappeared. It's no longer even in the area. I mean, it just took off and went like it's going a long distance, which it did. It disappeared. It's no longer in the area because it can move very fast. Now, why did the bird do that? Because it wanted to. The bird knows exactly the answer to that question. Now, all creatures are the same way. So it comes down to, if you really want to get a handle, you might say, on a person that you're talking to, there are 4 questions that are on page 171 and 172 in the basic textbook, the Revised Expanded Edition, and it has, what do I want to do? That's question 1. Question 2, why do I want to do what I want to do? Question 3, how do I plan to do what I want to do? And number 4, what do I expect the constructive result to be? Now, you can also use that as addressing yourself. What do I want to do? You always start with that. What do I want to do? Why do I want to do it? How do I plan to do it? Because apparently, or rather, it should be that if you want to do something, you should make a plan for doing it after you figure out why you want to do it. And then, last but not least, for sure, you want to know what the constructive result will be of what you, going back to number 1, say to yourself that you want to do. You want to change towns. You want to go to the job and work overtime today. Or you don't want that job at all. You're going in and quit. I mean, so then what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? How do you plan to do it? And what do you expect the constructive result to be? Now, those 4 questions apply to everybody, every creature on the planet, 24/7. So every black person, particularly, should orchestrate that for him or herself. These 4 questions should be in your mind all the time, and that 4th question out of the 4 should always be like bells going off. What do you expect the constructive result to be of whatever it is that you want to do, that you have planned to do, and you had a reason for doing it? Okay. That's the second question. Mm-hmm. Why do you want to do it? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So this is very important. I mean, I think that gets a person real focused about their entire existence. See, but you just don't want to plan your entire existence. The long-range plans, which you should have some, but sometimes you can't plan long-range. So it means, what do you want to do right today? You're given this day. You're not really promised tomorrow. But you want to be able to answer those questions for this day because you're here right now. Those 4 questions. And that gives you focus for your entire existence.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up every morning, you should be thinking about those 4 questions all day long.
Mm-hmm.
With that bottom line question being the most important. What do you expect the constructive result to be?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it might be some young black person out there right now who's, well, I'm putting this 9mm automatic pistol in my belt. All right? And I'm going to cover it up and put on my hoodie, and I'm going to hit the streets. Now, that's what you want to do, because that's what you're doing. Right this minute, that's what you're doing. Somebody's doing it. Okay. Now, why are you doing this? Because I'm going to be ready to rumble. I mean, because I got some beefs out here with some people. And if I see them, I'm going to take care of business. Oh, okay. That's why you want to do it. That's why you got that 9mm. All right. And how do you plan to do it? Well, I plan to do it by being ready. Because we've been having these beefs, and I'm sick of it, and all like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now, what do you expect the constructive result to be? You got a reason for what you're going to do. You got a plan for doing it. That is, your plan that seems to be, in my opinion, kind of limited because you're just going to take care of that business. That's Act 1. Now, what's your plan for Act 2? After you do this, that's Act 2. Because black people are kind of notorious the world over. We think it through about what we're going to do right this minute. We think that through very well right this minute, what we're going to do. Or what we're going to do maybe tomorrow, all right? But when it comes to what that constructive result is going to be, we never get to that. And that's why we are kind of known as being failures. I should have done this. I should have done that. I shouldn't have done this. I should have gone about doing it a different way. Yeah, we do a lot of that Monday morning quarterbacking. Black people are notorious for that. That's why we are in this dismal shape that we are in. So, what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? How do you plan to do it? But keep in mind that 4th question. What do you expect the constructive result to be? Are you going to make a problem? Or are you going to solve one? Because sometimes in the process, when it comes to black people, most of the time in the process of solving a problem, we make about 15 other problems that backfire on us. Because we didn't think it through.
Yes. Talk to him.
2-act play. We got Act 1 all down pat. Everything is planned for Act 1. But this is a 2-act play. What are you going to do after you do what you do? What's going to be the result? Because it might be pretty ugly. Why? Because you didn't plan for that. Act 2.
Okay. TalkToMit.com is a 24/7 no-charge worldwide broadcasting facility with hosts delivering on various topics such as news, lifestyle, sports, law, health, wellness, religion, and politics. Now here's 3 that I'm going to share with you. Your Time to Travel. Jeff Titus is the co-host or is the host. This is Libby with Miss Libby Rand and Wiggins World. Actually, Wiggins World Wellness with host Stacy Wiggins. Now, all these shows that I just mentioned are exclusive to TalkTainmentRadio.com, and all you have to do is go to the TalkTainmentRadio.com homepage. Just click on programs, and there is a complete list of all the programming that Talktainment Radio has to offer. Give it a sample, see if you like it or if you don't like it. But it's all up to you. Just go to the TalkTainmentRadio.com homepage, click on programs, you're there. All that from TalkTainmentRadio.com. The radio, the way it should be heard. My name is Mr. Bobby. I am the co-host on the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., who is here to answer your questions, and I will read Gmails, and he will answer those. To get in contact with the show, 1-877-932-9766, or you can Gmail me at the numero 7, Mr. Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y, at gmail.com, and I will try to get to them. Mr. Fuller, I've heard you say that the answer to all problems is we have to ask questions. And this particular question, has come up about problems that people have. And of course, in the conversation, it was mentioned about asking those 4 questions, what you just mentioned. The question I have is, why do people, in your humble opinion, seem to lose focus on that, or just bring in a lot of other things that are not germane to the question, which is these 4 questions right here, the starting point? What do you want to do to, identifying, their problem?
Well, black people are not taught to be planners of any kind. We from birth, and ever since the beginning of the system of white supremacy, for sure, black people are taught not to think about anything. Just do stuff. Don't think, because why? The master thinkers, racist man and racist woman, the white supremacists of this planet, they do the thinking for black people. So we have been trained not to ever think about anything. I mean, we just act. Just jump up and run across the room, hit our head against the wall or whatever. Just run around in circles. Jump up and down, scream and yell. But don't do any thinking. None. Zero. A black person is not supposed to think, ever, under the system of white supremacy. So we have been carefully trained that way. A thinking black person is potentially dangerous to the system of racism, which is the government of the entire world for black people. That's the only government we've ever known. We've never known, there's no black person on this planet that's ever known any government except in capital letters, the system of white supremacy. We've never been subject to any other government other than that. And that governmental function has requirements. And one of the requirements is, if you're a black person, you're not supposed to be a thinker. Not to even say anything about an in-depth thinker, a long-range planner. Oh, heaven forbid. A black person who makes a long-range plan, makes a plan that goes beyond 2 weeks, oh, that's some type of freak. A black person who can think beyond 2 weeks, that's really stretching it. 15 minutes, I mean, that's about his range. That's about the best he can do. What he's going to do for the next 15 minutes. Other than that, he got no idea what's going to happen or what he wants to do or doesn't want to do anything beyond that until that 15 minutes is up, and then he'll think of something else to do, usually something stupid. Yes. And so this person can be easily manipulated.
Okay.
But this is a skilled white supremacist. When you train a black person to be in that state of mind, now you got them right where you want them, because they plan 200, 300, 400 years ahead. That's how they think. They think at that level, how things are going to be 100 years from now.
Yes.
They make preparations for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go to the Gmails. 1-877-932-9766 is the number that you may dial, but you can also Gmail me at the numero 7, Mr. Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y, at gmail.com. This person's name is E. Says, "Good morning, Mr. Fuller and Mr. Bobby. Can you please ask Mr. Fuller this question for me? The question is, in the system of white supremacy, can a non-white person get constructive help by attending NA/AA meetings if they have previously struggled with drug addiction/alcohol?"
Well, I'm not familiar with what goes on in a AA meeting. I've never even talked with someone who has attended one of those meetings, and they gave me the entire scenario in depth. I just know of it. Alcoholics Anonymous and other type of groups that deal with people who are addicted to opiates or something like that. But I just know of these organizations, but I don't know the details of exactly what they do or how efficient it is. I have heard some people say that the 12 steps, I think it's 12 steps, in Alcoholics Anonymous, an organization for alcoholics, that I've heard some people say that it actually works. Now that's a code, because a code is set up to work. So that's just what I've heard, but I don't even know what those 12 steps are. I've never really looked into it, so I'm completely ignorant about that.
Okay.
I've never had a drink of alcohol myself. I don't even know what it tastes like. And that's not because I was a goody two-shoes as a younger person or anything along that route. It was simply because I saw so many terrible things happen to people who were alcoholics. Alcohol was the big thing when I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
And I was around a lot of people who were addicted to whiskey and wine and wildcat whiskey, they called it. I mean, homemade whiskey. Home brew, they call it. And I saw terrible things happen. I saw fights. I saw people falling down.
Mm-hmm.
And as a very young boy, I made up my mind I wasn't going nowhere near that.
Right.
I was around it all the time, but I'm not, no, don't give me any of that. I don't want to try it, not one time, because I see what happens to people.
Okay.
I saw the non-constructive result.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, I'll just drink fruit juice,
Okay.
That'll be all right with me.
Okay. All righty. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you're on with Mr. Fuller. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Mr. Fuller. I'm calling about the classifications you use, which are, white, non-white, and the white supremacists. The question I had in my observations is, in America, or what they call America, I get that the whole world is a prison, but I noticed that when we hear about shootings in the news, I've never heard that Shang Fei or Tran Nguyen or Carlos Rodriguez or Manuel Martinez has been shot down at the hands of the police. If we're all classified as non-white, why is there a specific target on people as black versus all these other non-white males also that drive the street? What do you think is going on with that, if you have an explanation? And my one VGQ, and I'll get off, is, are you aware that a whole lot of these other non-white people, the Asians, the Filipinos, the Pacific Islanders, which are Filipino people also, the Asians, are all classifying themselves on their documents as white? I work in many public school systems, and all of them have white down as their classification. So that was just my VGQ. And if you can answer the question about males of color and only it being black males shot down versus all, like I said, the Asian, the Middle Eastern. I don't hear their names in the news. Please explain.
Okay,
yes,
thank you, caller.
In answer to your question, if I understand the question, it's just what you might call the sliding color scale. The lighter you are, the closer you are to being white. So the white supremacists set that up. They say, now, if you're what you call real white, I mean, not, Mexican or something like that, not mixed with anything, that you're what you call genuine white, and they will set that standard. Adolf Hitler said, hey, the typical, what would be the ideal white person, the Aryan, that's the term he gave to it, whatever that's supposed to mean. I've never understood what that meant. I've tried to do some research on it, and it doesn't make sense. But he said 6 foot or over for males and females, all of them 6 foot, blonde hair, chalk white skin, blue eyes, and those are the fundamentals. Thin nose, all right, thin lips, square jawed, and he said something about what the cranium would be like. I mean, your head would have to, your forehead would have to have a certain curvature to it, or the lack of curvature, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I never studied everything that they said would make what they call the person who really should be the dominant person of the entire world in the system of white supremacy, even though I don't think he used the term white supremacy, but he said Aryan supremacy, that this is the ideal person. Now, everything else kind of goes down the line until you get to the ape-like black person, very dark skin, dark eyes, dark hair, and then have those people, the people who are the most dark, have the darkest skin, the darkest hair, the darkest eyes, everything about them black. I mean, the only thing about them that's white would maybe be their teeth and their fingernails and toenails, and everything else is just jet black. Now, that is the other end of what they call the humanistic scale. That's the lower end. Absolute. That's throwaway. That's no good at all, but nothing except to kick off the sidewalk. And so naturally, you see something like that, and hey, even a dog is rated higher than that. So you pet the dog and shoot the black person. So naturally, if everybody on the planet is taught that is the color scale, that's the way it should be. Well, and we have all been taught that directly or indirectly by whom? The white supremacists themselves. Well, it's natural that everybody would walk around thinking that way. That every jet black female would want to have blonde hair and blue eyes. Why? Because that's the super standard. That's the super standard. If you want to be anything at all that's worth paying attention to, if you want to be a person who is perfect in every way, a person that knows everything about how to get things done, a person that can endure any type of stress, a person that can figure things out in a heartbeat, that would take somebody with a dark skin 2,000 years to figure out.
Pardon me, Mr. Fuller.
That person can figure it out in 2 minutes.
Pardon me, Mr. Fuller. We have to take a station break. I'm getting the signal. TalkToHimRadio.com. We go where you go. Just download the TalkToHimRadio.com app to your cell or to your tablet. Podcasts are available. That's radio the way it should be heard. Stay right there. We got a caller on the line, a Gmail, and thank you for listening. All that and more coming up on TalkToHimRadio.com.
TalkTainmentRadio.com is proud to present the compensatory concept. It is an effective system for countering the effects of white supremacy. TalkTainmentRadio.com is able to carry the first hour. However, the cost for the second hour is exceeding our limited budget. That is why we ask for your kind assistance in keeping the second hour on the air. If you believe like we do, help us in this struggle for justice. Go to the gold donate button on the talktainmentradio.com web page and hit the gold donate button. That's the gold donate button. And please donate. Help us to keep the second hour of the compensatory concept on the air. Thank you.
For the best home fragrance and beauty products, shop Ash Kickin' online.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Made with 100% natural quality ingredients and handcrafted with your family in mind, Ash Kickin' products are better than those other guys. Ash Kickin' candles, incense, body butter, face moisturizer, and hair moisturizer are priced just right, and you can get yours at 10% off with coupon code TALK17. Support this 100% black-owned business and get your home and body smelling and feeling all right.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Shop Ash Kickin' online at www.ashkickin.com.
Stand by for an important announcement for renters and investors. You have probably heard about this bad economy and high foreclosure rate. I'm here to bring you hope. Every foreclosed property is a blessing or a deal for a new buyer or investor. These properties are selling every day all over Central Ohio for several reasons. They are equity rich, worth tens of thousands of dollars above their price. There is down payment money available and remodeling funds if needed. Don't let the doom and gloom news keep you from your dream of home ownership. Call Linco Realty today at 865-9614. That's 865-9614. Call now. Always remember, these times, like all times, are good times if we but know what to do with them. They also have programs for investors who want to get off the couch and run with the big dogs. Call Linco today at 865-9614 or log on to repohomeslist.com.
This is Al Edmondson, owner of a Cutter Brother Rest Barbershop. I'm calling on all barbers and beauticians. It's time for us to unite as one. We can serve our communities better together. Join the Ohio Black Barber Beauty Network. For more information, visit www.obbn.org or call 614-427-3226 to get more information. Be the change that you want to see in your community. Join our network.
Looking for something special for your club or group? Take a trip. Cruise planners will help you plan the event of a lifetime. Explore exotic places from Africa to Asia, Bermuda to Las Vegas to Hawaii, with special offers that make it affordable and exciting. Click on to www.greatgetawaytrips.com for great deals or call today at 614-707-SHIP. That's 614-707-7447.
Sex Code War by Kahari Inaharo, the author of the Essence Magazine bestseller Race Code War, is releasing his second book, Sex Code War. Be on the lookout for Sex Code War.
If you or someone you know is abusing drugs and or alcohol and want to stop the abuse, contact APDS at 1409 East Livingston Avenue. Office hours are 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. APDS is certified by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services and primarily funded through the Adam H. Board. Fees are based on your income and Medicaid is always accepted. For more information, call 614-253-4448.
Here's an idea. You've heard of the notion of pay it forward? It comes from the 2000 movie Pay It Forward. Basically, the premise is helping someone with no expectations of payback, providing assistance to someone, passing information on, simply doing a good deed for a total stranger, and instead of allowing them to pay it back, ask them to pay it forward. Doing favors for other people and asking them to do the same. The principle is the same as multi-level marketing, except that instead of soap or vitamins, it's generosity between strangers that is being passed on. Pay It Forward is mentoring. It's volunteering in your community. It's shoveling a neighbor's snow or cutting an elderly person's grass for them or taking a senior to the store. Don't wait for someone else to do something good. Do it yourself. It starts with you. Talktainment Radio strongly embraces the notion of pay it forward. And fact, we just did.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTimRadio.com.
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Go ahead. Make my day.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You got the power.
TalkTimRadio.com is where you go. Download the TalkTimRadio.com app to your cell or to your tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. My name is Mr. Bobby. I am the co-host on the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neil E. Fuller Jr., who is live from Washington, D.C. To get in contact with the show, 877-932-9766, or you can Gmail me at the numeral 7, Mr. Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y, at gmail.com. Our topic today is problem solving. All problems can be solved. Every single problem can be solved, but there are steps to doing this. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you're on with Mr. Fuller. Go ahead with your question.
Good morning, Mr. Bobby. Good morning, Mr. Fuller. As I continue to just enhance and learn about the prison system and learning from Mr. Fuller, I'm learning that, and I'm seeing that I'm distancing myself from my family and friends, and I'm just trying to figure out how am I supposed to learn how to be social, I guess, and learning to be distant while trying to learning to dismantle the system. I'm a type of woman that requires a lot of alone time, and I also need balance in being social. But a lot of my family and friends, they engage in non-constructive things, and it's not tasteful for me anymore to engage in those type of activities. And so, is there any advice that you have for me, Mr. Fuller, on this journey of loneliness? I should say, as I continue to enhance myself and grow and learning to dismantle the system as an individual.
Well, if I understand the question, it's what this program is about, problem solving. Just adopt a slogan and keep it fixed in your mind. I mean, really concentrate on it. Solve problems without making any. And that goes through the 4 wants that I started off with on page 171 and 172 of the Revised Expanded Edition. You can just focus on that. What do you want to do? And the people that you associate with, just ask those questions. Ask them those questions. I mean, don't get away from those questions. Those are very important questions because that will take care of everything right out of the gate. Each and every day, any time of day. Those are questions that will apply to anybody at any time, anywhere, right this minute, and the next minute, and the next minute. It applies to everybody. Nobody is an exception to these 4 questions. What do you want to do? Just ask, your associates, your quote-unquote family members or whatnot, what do you want to do? Gail, what is it that you want to do? Jimmy, what is it you want to do? Kamani, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to do? Not what I want you to do. What is it you want to do? Question 1. Question 2, why do you want to do it? Whatever it is, why do you want to do it? You want to go to Pittsburgh? Why do you want to go to Pittsburgh? 3rd question, how do you plan to do it? Well, I got to get me some money first. So, how do you plan to get the money? Well, I plan to get it from you. If you loan it to me. Okay. So, you plan to get the money from me to go to Pittsburgh. That's your plan. Now, when you get to Pittsburgh, what do you expect the constructive result to be of you, according to your plan and according to what you want to do you want to go to Pittsburgh. What do you expect the constructive result to be now that you can picture yourself arriving in Pittsburgh? Now what? What are you going to Pittsburgh for? See, just question after question. Because, like the host has said, and like I've said on this program, all problems are solved through what? The process of questions and answers. That's the codified process. There's never been a problem that's ever been solved without going through the process of questions and answers. And how many questions? As many as it takes to get all of the answers, because you don't want to leave any questions unanswered. Those questions that are unanswered, that's where the danger comes. Like I asked that last question, what do you expect the constructive result to be? You're at the airport or the bus station. You're in Pittsburgh, so you're here. All right, now what? What did you come here for? See what I mean? What did you come here for? You just got off the plane. You're in the airport. You picked up your bags. You're flagging a Uber or a taxi, or someone is picking you up. Now, what are you're in Pittsburgh. You wanted to come to Pittsburgh. What did you come here for? What do you expect the constructive result to be? Well, now, you're supposed to have that answer before you went. All right, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You expect things to get better, I guess, rather than just stand there in the bus station and ask yourself, well, I wanted to come to Pittsburgh, but what do I do now? No, that's never supposed to happen.
Yes.
That's never supposed to happen. You're supposed to have a plan for why you came there in the first place.
Yes. We're talking about problem solving. What do you
That's it.
What do you want to do? It's on page 171 of the revised expanded edition, which I will have Mr. Fuller talk about in just 1 minute or just a moment. But before we have him talk about his book, and you know we always do this at 1:45, but I'm going to take this phone call. Caller, you are on with Mr. Fuller. What is your question for Mr. Fuller?
Hi, Mr. Fuller. My name is Brandon. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia. And my question, well, first of all, I was on Twitter 2 days ago, and it's a white woman on Twitter who claimed that she has studied racism for the past 2 years, and claims to not fully understand the effects of racism, white supremacy. So my question to you, Mr. Fuller, is, according to counter-racist logic, is it possible for a white person in an entire system of racism, white supremacy, to claim to not know the effects of racism, white supremacy? That's my question.
Is it possible for a white person to claim that they don't know the effects of white supremacy?
Yes.
Is that the question?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I mean, they do that all the time. The white supremacists, the hardcore white supremacists, will tell you, for one thing, they don't even know what you're talking about. The most refined white supremacists will say that. They'll say, racism, what's that? I'm not aware of any racism. You talking this racism stuff? I mean, sometimes you black people come around talking about somebody as a racist. What's a racist? I don't have, and what's that cliche term that's used? Most popular one. The one that really stands out. Don't have a racist bone in my body. Well, I don't know what a racist bone looks like. I mean, different blood bones, but, don't have a racist bone. All right? I mean, mean, maybe somebody should put that up in a museum somewhere so somebody can identify it, maybe in every precinct. They say, now here we have an illustration of a racist bone. All right? You can find it by X-ray or whatever, you know. But, see, that's just a cliche saying. So a white supremacist, basically, according to the code, will say anything. So I guess in answer to your question, what will a white supremacist say, and why do they say it? They'll say anything that will give them more strength than they had before as a white supremacist. And you just remember that. They don't care what they say. I mean, you know, if you say that, well, I don't trust anybody except people who have a Christian background, and the white supremacists say, oh, I invented Christianity. You know? Or you say, well, no, I baited you there. I really meant Islam. Oh, yeah, I believe in Islam. I'm a Muslim. A white supremacist will say anything, as long as what? As long as they wind up with all the power, that's what.
Yes.
They will say anything in any area of activity. Economics, they'll say anything. Education, they'll say anything. Entertainment, labor, law, politics, they will say anything in their interactions with people. Religion, they'll be a Catholic this morning and a Buddhist in 15 minutes later, if that's what you buy into. They don't care. All they want to know is, have I got extra power or all power over this black person standing in front of me? That's the only thing that a white supremacist wants. And they will say anything and do anything to get it.
Okay. Thank you for your call, caller. TalkTainMenRadio.com. We go where you go. Just download the TalkTainMenRadio.com app to your cell or to your tablet. That is radio the way it should be heard. My name is Mr. Bobby, the co-host on the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller. But it is at this time that we give Mr. Fuller a few minutes to devote to his book. As a matter of fact, we've been talking specifically about his book on page 171, the 4 wants. That comes directly from the book. Now, if you don't have the book, you need to purchase the book, and he'll tell you how. Mr. Fuller, go ahead, please.
You can get the book by going to producejustice.com. That's producejustice.com. Because ultimately that's what we're supposed to be producing. And along with correctness later on, of course, you got to get justice, balance between people, got to get people to stop mistreating each other and helping each other in order to get justice. Then you can start doing the things that will support your environment for doing justice. Because you got to be in balance not only with people, which is what justice is about. You have to be in balance with all the things that are in the universe. Sand, water, fire. Fire can be a problem. Water can be a problem. Too much sand in a place where you're trying to grow crops, that can be a problem. The animals and how best to handle them in such a way to orchestrate their survival and whatnot, and what they contribute. You don't want to get rid of any species until you know what that species is here for. And most species are here for a purpose. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here, whatever created the universe. So the entire book, the textbook for victims of white supremacy, is supposed to make us think about these things. And more than anything, getting rid of the system of white supremacy, because you can't do nothing without doing that. If you're thinking about doing anything that's worthwhile without getting rid of the system of white supremacy, whatever you're doing that's worthwhile is going to turn out to be nothing, because that's just the way the world is set up. It's an illegitimate government of the entire planet. It never should have been invented in the first place. It can get a lot of things done, and it has, but it destroys people. It makes people into some terrible creatures. So it's an illegitimate government, the system of white supremacy. But it's individual victim. If you are classified as non-white, then the book says that basically you're a victim of the system of white supremacy. And the book is supposed to help you to get rid of the system of white supremacy and replace it with a system of justice and correctness, and ultimately produce universal man and universal woman to help you along that road. Why? Because we are in the universe, and we're supposed to be in harmony with the universe and/or have the universe in harmony with us, so that we can have what people say that they all want all over the world, but nobody's making a real effort to do it according to the evidence, and that is that thing called peace, something that we have never seen, something that in recorded history it's never been. That's the X factor. But you can get the book by going to justice.com. And on a daily basis, this book should help you to solve problems as a person of color. Mm-hmm. That's what the book is for, problem solving. Solve problems without making any. That last part is very important. Solve problems, but what? Without making any. Go to producejustice.com. That's how you order the book. producejustice.com.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's do this. This is from the Gmails. It says, "Good morning, Mr. Fuller. My name is Tony. I have a quick question for you, Mr. Fuller. How can you or any black person / any person of color solve this racism, white supremacy problem? Because I hear a lot of you guys saying there's a problem, but none of you all seem to solve it. Thanks for acknowledging my email."
Oh, the problem is not solved until it's solved. That statement is correct. No one has solved the race problem. But problems are made to be solved. You start with that premise. It's just a matter of how you go about doing it. And that's why I wrote the textbook for victims of white supremacy. It's about the process for solving a problem. You have to go through a process. You have a flat tire on a car. Now, that problem can be solved. It's been proven that it can be solved. All right? But the race problem has not been proven that it can be solved. But the very fact that it is a problem made by people, that's the premise. Any problem that people make, people can solve. That's a theory. It may not even be true, but I believe it's true. The creator of the universe, in my opinion, made it that way. Because when we came into the world, we were faced with what? Problems from day one. A baby, even before it can think, can perceive that there is a problem. Many problems. How did I come to that conclusion? That's just a conclusion I came to. I've never known a baby that came into the world laughing. Yeah. Babies come into the world crying. Why? Even before their minds begin to work, the baby is crying out, "What a mess this is. Good gosh. I mean, what have you people been doing before I got here? My goodness, everything is a mess. I can feel it. I can feel it. That's why I'm crying. I'm not laughing about nothing. This is not a pleasant situation at all. Why did anybody dump me off in this middle of this mess?" That's what every baby everywhere on the planet comes into the world crying out. They can sense it before they can even articulate. They haven't even opened their eyes yet. But when they take that first breath, they can tell something's wrong with the air. I mean, they're crying. I mean, that means something. That's got to mean something. I may not be putting it in a way that, they might say, "Well, Fuller, that's a screwball idea that you got." Well, think about it now. Why is it that babies come into this world, all over the world, not laughing? not giggling, not saying, ooh, this is paradise. They all come here crying. And we all leave here crying. Why? Because problems have not been solved. That's why. Everything is a problem. You come here faced with problems. And so, that's the conclusion that I came to. And what is the biggest problem, in my opinion? On the time I've been on the planet, I say, well, the biggest problem is the one that causes all the other problems, or gets in the way of all other problems being solved. So I concluded, going back to the 1940s, and really concluded it by the mid-1950s, that the biggest problem among the people of this planet, I don't know about other planets, is the race problem. And you cannot, absolutely cannot, solve any major problem involving people without solving that problem first. So the black people who are running around saying, I don't have time to deal with race, I got to think about other things, I got a plan on my own, and all like that. Well, the white supremacists got a plan for you if you got color in your skin, and you are not going to like it, because that's their job. That's how they think. Make a situation that you definitely do not like if you have the correct intentions. Now, they'll make you like a whole lot of things that don't make sense, which black people have a tendency to do.
Mm-hmm.
We are crazy about doing stuff that is absolutely stupid. Why? Were we born like that? No. We were trained to be that way because it benefits the white supremacist or a black person to go through his or her entire existence thinking about, planning about, and doing things that are monumentally stupid and thinking that we are doing something great. That is a perfect Negro in the minds of the white supremacists.
Yes. You said that, I'm sorry, we have a call. Okay, I'm sorry. Caller in, I don't know, we got 3 minutes before we have to close out the first hour. I tell you what, caller, I'm going to wait to put you on because it's going to take Mr. Fuller a minute to answer the question. So just hang on and I will get to you. Mr. Fuller, you mentioned that the illegitimate government of white supremacy, racism, must be extinguished. If we extinguish it, which I believe in my heart and soul and all that's in me, that it can be distinguished, what must it be replaced with?
You replace it with a system of justice.
Yes.
Why? Because that's what the system of white supremacy is all about. Non-justice. They are anti-justice. What is justice? Well, according to what I've written, because that's the first thing you do is get the language straight. So, it consists of 2 parts. Guaranteeing that no person is mistreated, regardless of whom that person is. You don't mistreat anybody, anytime, ever. That's off. I mean, mistreating people should be a thing of the past. I mean, nobody sets out to mistreat anybody. And if you make a mistake and mistreat someone, I mean, you repair that. You don't apologize. You repair whatever the damage was done.
Yes.
That's the compensatory way.
Okay.
All right.
Got to close out the first hour, Mr. Fuller. Got to close it out. Sorry. TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio the way it should be heard. Stay tuned for the second hour. You know, when the music comes on, we have to close it. But stay tuned for the second hour. Thanks for listening to the first hour.